Engineering in a Pandemic is the latest resource from the Royal Academy of Engineering, and I'm going to be looking through the student guide now. So, of course, the pandemic has had devastating global effects. However, the engineering community has worked together to quickly respond to the changes and even find opportunities for positive change. So, engineers have done things like create emergency ventilators, diagnostic tests, manufacturing methods for face shields, helped increase hospital capacity, and helped us all be able to stay in touch with friends and family. Now, if you've received this pack from your teacher and you've got the physical copy, then you'll also have all of this material with it as well. And I'm just going to quickly run through what you get. So there's these two moulding sticks, a battery pack, fan blades, chromatography, 2 pieces of chromatography paper, crock leads, a motor, and the chromatography paper holder there as well. If you haven't got the physical resource, then speak to your teacher and tell them about the Connecting STEM Teachers programme, and that they can get all these materials for free for your school. And even if you don't have the materials, then most of the activities in this booklet don't actually, you can still do them with other things that you can find around the house and at school as well, depending whether you're back or not. So there's a number of different challenges that you can work through in this booklet, but you're no way expected to go through them all or work through them in sequence. You'll notice that some of them say challenge and some of them say spotlight. The spotlight is just a bit of background information about some amazing things that have been happening around the pandemic. And the different challenges, you can jump in and out of these depending on the ones that you find the most interesting. So engineers make things that work or make things work better, and they do this in particular ways. They have a number of skills, which we call engineering habits. And these are skills that you are also using in school and at home, and when you do activities like the ones in this booklet. Now, you can find the Engineering Habits quiz on the Resource Hub, where you can have a look and decide where you sit on different areas, such as making a plan before I start work, or working successfully in a group, or making what I have done better. And at the end of the quiz, you'll have your engineering habits mapped out on a spider diagram. Now, these results are not fixed, and we want you to try and take this Engineering Habits quiz for different activities. We want to reward you for your commitment to STEM and for completing the challenges in this booklet through digital STEM badges. There are 3 STEM badges that you can claim for completing the challenges in this booklet. One once you've completed 2 challenges, one once you've completed 4 challenges, and one once you've completed 7 challenges. Now, these badges have all got code embedded within them, so that if you use them as part of a college application or attach them to one of your profiles, anyone will be able to see that it's something that has been awarded to you by the Royal Academy of Engineering. And they'll be able to see what you have the badge for. Now, speak to your teacher or a activity leader once you've completed your challenges, and they might ask you questions like, what problem did you solve and what did you discover from working in this challenge? And they'll also want to know about which engineering habits you think you've been using when completing the different challenges. And that's why we've got the STEM badge tracker here for you to mark out the different engineering habits you've used for the different challenges. There's 7 challenges in total.
The next page in the booklet is setting the scene, and this explains what a pandemic is. Some really good background information about the World Health Organization, about the history of some other pandemics, and also what we mean by a virus as opposed to a bacteria. And if you get the chance, I really recommend watching the short video here that explains a little bit more about COVID-19. There's then a spotlight looking at innovation in a crisis, because although lots of bad things have happened, engineers have stepped up and come up with innovative solutions to actually address the problems facing the world. There's a fantastic video here from the Royal Academy of Engineering, and that highlights some of the work that's gone on recently. So the first challenge, number 1, is looking at a post-pandemic world and what kind of things can be designed to help us overcome some of the new issues that humanity might be facing. So it has some great examples here of things that people have already invented, and it's really looking at how you can actually work as a team or even an individual to identify an issue or a problem and then come up with a solution. Challenge 2 is looking at bioart, and this is how we can actually model what's inside a virus. Now, in the kit, you do get supplied with these bits of plastic. These are incredible actually, because all you need is some hot water, and just be careful because hot water is hot, so be very careful when you're using it. And if you dip the sticks into this water, it's going to soften the plastic. You can take just what you need, and then you can use this to actually model your virus. And of course, we don't need to use these plastic moulding sticks. You can use other items for around the house or at school to actually make your models. This allows us to visualize what's actually inside the virus, and then this is how scientists actually start to understand where we can target it for future vaccines.
The third challenge in this booklet is classroom and then village outbreak. The classroom outbreak part of the challenge will work best once you're back in school. However, your teacher might be able to find a way for you to do it if you're still working remotely as well. Now, the idea of this challenge is that you'll each receive a sheet of paper with a number on it. Okay. Anyone that has the number 0 on their sheet of paper is carrying the virus. Now, you're going to walk around and secretly find another class member, and you're going to multiply your two numbers together, and the product of those two numbers is going to be your new number. So for example, if you're number 2 and your classmate is number 3 and you multiply your numbers together, you'll end up with the number 6, and now your new number is the number 6. So each round in this game, you're going to start with a new number. So you'll continue to do this until either your teacher or activity leader ends the game, when then you'll come back and have a look at what numbers you all ended with, and whether the number of people carrying the virus had increased and why that might be. The next part of this activity is village outbreak, and there are a number of different ways to have a look at this. So there is a small village with 300 people. One person is infected with a contagious virus, and anyone infected with the virus spreads it to one new person each week. Now, you can use this table to have a look at how the virus might spread. So I use this diagram to look at how the virus might spread, and then use this table to record your results. Challenge 4 in this booklet, testing, looks at lateral flow tests, and of course finding out if people have been infected or are infected with the virus or disease plays a critical role in our efforts to manage a pandemic and work towards allowing us all to be able to continue our lives as safely as possible. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, lateral flow tests were used both to test for the virus and also to test for antibodies as well. There's a great video here by Aberdeen Health which shows how lateral flow tests work. So for the chromatography test, we are using this as a way to represent how lateral flow tests work, although they don't actually work in the same way. In particular, looking at this control line. So in a control line in the lateral flow test tells us that a test has worked. If this line appears after we've added whatever it is that we're testing here, and it has moved along the lateral flow along the lateral flow test, and that line appears, it tells us that the test has worked. So we're going to do this but in a slightly different way. So we've got our 2 strips of chromatography paper. I'm just going to use one for now. I'm going to draw a pencil line first, and then I'm going to cover that with some different colour pens. So most importantly is that we don't want to use permanent markers such as Sharpies, anything washable, or these liquid inks work really well as well. So I'm just going to cover it with red ink, and then I'm going to dip it in water and going to see what happens. Why does the red ink move up and perhaps the pencil doesn't? And then this chromatography test holder is just there just to represent the lateral flow test a little bit more as well. Going back to the chromatography, have a think about what happens if I cover it with blue ink. Okay, so I've got red and blue there. What happens to the different coloured inks? What about if I try black ink? What happens there as well? So there's a few different things to investigate there for the testing activity.
Challenge 5 is called Block the Way, and it looks at the role of vaccination in protecting an entire population. So there are full instructions in the student guide, and also it refers to this 5x8 grid. You can download your own copy from the Royal Academy of Engineering STEM Resources website, and there's a link to that beneath this video. And in this grid here, what you can do is use some counters to represent people who may be infected, who have no vaccination, and also who've been vaccinated. So here the blue represents a healthy person and somebody in green is a virus carrier. Now this is where you work with a partner, and what you need to do is start infecting people from this infected virus carrier. And you can maybe do this every 3 seconds, working with a friend who's looking at a stopwatch. So this person might infect this person, they both infect somebody else. And what you can look at is how the virus spreads amongst the population. What you can then do is you can then put in randomly, perhaps we have red to be people who've had the vaccine. Let's say we had 10 people who'd had the vaccine, like that. And then again, working with your partner, what you can look at is how that virus is spreading through the population, but now there's more people in the way to actually slow the spread of that virus. And you can repeat this with maybe 10, 20 or 30 people. Again, this is something that you can decide to change with your partner, looking at how when you've got a certain proportion of the population who've had their vaccine, how that's actually going to really save other people who might not be able to have their vaccination at this time.
So I'm going to go on to the 6th challenge now, which is weird and wonderful face masks. And it's linked a little bit to the Tech for Pandemics challenge. I want you to think about what tech perhaps would you want to see in a face mask that would either help control the spread of the virus or create some sort of interesting and exciting user experience. In the back of the student booklet, you will find these face mask templates, but you can also download it from the resource hub. Now, any designs of face masks that you create, if you send them to Tech She Can, they will feature them as part of their Tech for Pandemics lesson. Okay, so that's Tech She Can, and they'll feature your face mask design on their Tech for Pandemics lesson.
Challenge 7 is a respiratory challenge. Challenge 7 is looking at materials for face masks. And this is something where you can actually design and build something to test different sorts of materials. So within the kit, we have a motor, we have our fan blade that you can just bend to the right shape so that you have the right amount of airflow. We've got a couple of crocodile clips and a battery holder. And you might notice that if this is spinning too fast, what you can do is just connect it to one battery rather than 2 of them. But again, as an engineer working in your teams, what you're looking at is overcoming problems as you find them. So you're going to make a test rig, and this wants to test different materials to see that they let just the right amount of airflow through. If it's not letting any air through at all, then it wouldn't be a suitable material to be a face mask. Whereas if it let all the air through, then it would also allow a lot of virus to come through as well. And by looking at maybe a piece of foil or a piece of paper at the end of this wind tunnel that you're designing, you can see how much that moves to let you know how much air is actually going through that material. So that was the final challenge in this booklet. If you would like to get your own copy of this, you can download everything digitally over at the Royal Academy of Engineering STEM Resources website. You can also get the worksheets and also a teacher guide as well. If you'd actually like to get the physical copy of this and also the physical pack of equipment, then do speak to your teachers if they haven't already got it for you. They can become part of a Royal Academy of Engineering network, and this provides many, many free resources for your teachers and your school to get more people involved with STEM. So have a look at the STEM Resources website. So I hope you enjoyed that. That was Engineering in a Pandemic.